Yeah, I want to appreciate you all for taking that time to watch my videos and also to like, share, and also comment on my video as you do your research. I'm going to do the part 3 of the Sabbath explained. I'm doing the part 3 of the Sabbath explained. The part 3 is what I'm doing at this moment for you to get a holistic view of the teaching. Watch out the part 1 and part 2 of the Sabbath explained. Like we have established already, the Sabbath is for mercy, as explained deeper in Matthew chapter 12 by Yahushua HaMashiach. And the original purpose of Yahweh creating the Sabbath was for rest, for reflection, and for rejuvenation. And these three components is a symbol of a relationship between Yahweh and his people. And we could also discover in Isaiah how Yahweh has said that if we keep the Shabbat, he was going to lift us to a height on the earth as a people above every other. So the Shabbat is very symbolic. Man does not have the authority to change the Sabbath because it was made in Eden and it was crafted on stones in Mount Sinai and was fulfilled in Yahushua HaMashiach and was a seal for Yahweh's people, just as his name is Torah, so also is the Sabbath to his people. That's what makes his people Kodesh, his people set apart people. So it is important for us to understand this. And if you read in the 10 Commandments in Exodus, what started it in verse 8 of that Exodus 20 is for us to remember. The specific instruction there was for us to remember because Yahweh knows that we are going to forget. So, however, in this series, I'm going to be listing out 13 things with scriptures for us to have a holistic and deeper insight into Sabbath. That the Sabbath was not done away with, and the Sabbath was not changed to Sunday. It is Saturday, and it is for rest, for reflection, and for rejuvenation. Number 1, Sabbath is the 7th day of the week. It is important we know this. As stated in Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. Number 2, Yahweh rested on it, blessed it, and sanctified it, as stated in that Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. Number 3 point we must know. Yahweh said to remember it and keep it and set it apart. We are to set it apart. We are to remember it. We are to keep it. As stated in Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through to verse 11. So Exodus 20, 8 to 11, we could see it there. Number 4, facts and true. Number 4, thing we must understand about the Sabbath is that Yahweh blessed those who keep it. There is a blessing attached to those who keep it. Isaiah chapter 56, verse 2. Number 5 thing we must know about the Sabbath. It is a sin to not keep the Sabbath, Kodesh, to not keep it set apart. 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Number 6 fact we must know about the Sabbath. Grace does not give us license to break or reject the Sabbath. Romans chapter 6, verse 1 to verse 2 and verse 15. Number 7 facts. Number 7 facts we must know about, we understand about the Sabbath is that the scripture calls the seventh day Sabbath. The scripture calls the seventh day the Yahweh's day. It calls it the Yahweh's day. King James will say the Lord's day. He called it Yahweh's day. He called it the seventh day is the Sabbath, which is Yahweh's day. So we must understand that. Matthew chapter 12, verse 8. Mark chapter 2, verse 27 to 28. Number 18, we must know about the Sabbath. Yahushua himself says it is for all mankind, not just one group. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. So if mankind need to be set above, if mankind need to be taken to a height on the earth, we must keep and kodesh the Sabbath. Number 19, we must know about the Sabbath. It is just as important as it is with the covenant. It is very important. It is very important to us. Very important as the other 10 commandments is, because it was part of the 10 commandments. If you know you have to honor Yahweh, if you know you have to honor your parents, if you also know that you do not need to murder, you do not need to take your neighbor's property, you do not need to take your neighbor's wife, the same thing also, you must keep and kodesh the Sabbath. James chapter 2, verse 10. Keep number 10. Keeping the Sabbath is a sign that Yahweh sanctified us, that we must belong to him. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 12. Number 11 thing about the Sabbath. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 12 to 20. You could see that there. Number 11 thing we must understand about the Sabbath is that Yahushua set an example for us by keeping the Sabbath day. He kept the seventh day, which is the Sabbath day himself. Luke chapter 4, verse 16. Number 12 thing we must understand about the Sabbath is that the early church, the early assembly, King James will say the early church, but your scriptures and every other Sefer scripture will say the early assembly kept the seventh day as the Sabbath. Acts chapter 17, verse 2. Acts chapter 18, verse 4. And the number 13th thing we must understand about the Sabbath is that all saved people in heaven and the new earth, we keep the seventh day as the Sabbath. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. So we must understand the Sabbath is important. No man can alter it. No man can change it, because it was created in Eden. It was written on stones in Sinai. It was fulfilled in his son Yahushua HaMashiach, and is used as a seal for